Madam Chair, I move to strike the last word.
The gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you. I would like to speak in opposition to the amendment and for the bill. And I would just start with bringing us back to the purpose of the bill. Immigrants have defended the United States in every major conflict since the Revolutionary War. In fact, one of the first casualties in the Iraq War was of Lance Corporal Jose Antonio Gutierrez, who was not an American citizen when he died fighting for the United States. At age 17, he made the 2,000-mile dangerous journey by train, foot, and bus to the United States from Guatemala. He was adopted by a family in the United States, and he joined the Marines, wanting to give back to the country that gave him everything. Today, there are 45,000 immigrants serving in the U.S. Armed Forces, many of them likely motivated to enlist for the same reasons as Jose Antonio Gutierrez. And yet hundreds of immigrant veterans are estimated to have been deported. The Veteran Service Recognition Act would take the crucial steps necessary to stop this from happening and to provide relief to veterans who have already been deported. And as you've heard from Representative Lofgren, the guardrails are actually very, very strong. The truth is that this bill shouldn't be necessary. The idea of deporting individuals who enlisted in the military, who are ready to put their lives on the line to defend the American people and our democracy, is just wrong. And, you know, it's tragic when a service member comes home suffering from PTSD, makes a mistake, and is banished from the country that they fought to defend without any consideration for their services. Now, some of my colleagues on the other side would have you believe that many of these service members should not be granted legal status because of interaction with the criminal justice system. But we know that 11 to 30% of veterans have PTSD or have experienced some form of it from that very act of defending our country. And we also know that people suffering from PTSD are 60% more likely to become entangled in the criminal justice system. When people have suffered trauma, especially, but certainly when it's in service to this country, we should be responding with treatment and help, not handcuffs and jail. And for immigrant veterans, we have to ensure that they're not deported from the country that they risk their lives for. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is supposed to consider veteran services to this country when making removal decisions, but a 2019 GAO study found that ICE attorneys, quote, did not consistently follow its policies involving veterans who were placed in removal proceedings, in part because ICE officials were unaware of the policies. That's a direct quote. We can't leave this to chance. Even one deported veteran is too many. And when people sign up to defend this country, we should be helping them to become US citizens as quickly as possible. And that's exactly what the bill.
Would the gentlelady yield? Would the gentlelady? I want to thank you for pointing that out, that the ICE prosecutors didn't realize that they should consider the veteran status. And that's the major reason for this advisory committee, to at least heighten the awareness of the prosecutors that here's a vet, and that needs to be part of the consideration. They don't have a say. They shouldn't have a say. That's going to be, you know, the prosecutor, and maybe there'll be a defense counsel and the judge, but at least they'll know this is a vet, and that's a real reason why we put the advisory committee in there, and I thank the gentlelady for yielding.
Very, very important point. Thank you, Representative Lofgren. We're also talking about a very limited number of individuals. Estimates put the number of deported veterans in the hundreds. DHS has already demonstrated that it's highly capable to help facilitate the return of deported veterans through the Immigrant Military Members and Veterans Initiative. As of June, the IMMVI team has received 60 requests for relief and return from veterans and their family members. So far, the team has granted 16 of those requests and denied 8. So these numbers just refute the fear-mongering from the other side. This program to return deported veterans to their families and communities is working. The individuals are carefully vetted and denied when warranted. I'm proud that President Biden has taken action to prevent and address deported veterans early in his administration, but now Congress needs to do our part. And that starts with passing this bill. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on the underlying bill and no on the amendment. I yield back, Madam Chair.
The gentlelady.